Where starting recording. I'm not. There we go.
Yeah.
Hello, friends. Our first podcast ever. Welcome to the Bincast, where small talk comes to die. I have a special friend and follower on my account. His name is Gavin, joining us for our first time ever. So, Gavin, welcome. Thank you for being on here.
Well, glad to be here. As most of you've
And
probably seen in the lives, I've been interacting with them. We've been texting for about like a month, you would say, something like that. And talking
absolutely.
about this. Yeah. But it's good to be here. It's good to be here. Yeah. Glad to be here.
Our current platform is on Skype, so we're figuring our way forward. But Gavin's been really patient with me. We spent the last little while working through technical
That
difficulties.
was we it got to the point where we were just calling on Instagram and just talking and finding different ways.
Yep.
This is honestly my third Skype username that I've used, so just keep that in mind. Future
I'm
people, if you
glad.
want to be on the podcast, make this a lot easier on them, man. This is just the first one. We made it hard on each other. It's equal. It's mutual. All right.
Yes. I had fun doing it though. So
Yeah.
here's the basic premise of this podcast. The Bincast, I don't have any set schedule before we come to the podcast, and it's my way of modeling what it looks like for us to connect in a really meaningful ways with each other. So I've got my notepad where I write notes. As you can see, it is currently empty, but in the midst of our next hour or so of conversation, my aim is to get to know Gavin really well, to introduce him and his
Yeah.
story, and share life experiences along the way.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
main jam. So, Gavin, thank you so much for your kindness that you've shown to me on the lives. I
No problem.
appreciate the way you encouraged me along the way. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. No problem. It's honestly been fun coming out here, especially like I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. I have just forgot about all work and honestly spent more time interacting with you. And honestly, today spent more time worrying about what you were gonna ask or anything. But honestly, it's still I still got my work done. I still got my work done.
Awesome.
So, mom, if you're
Awesome.
watching this, if you ever do end up coming across this, I did do my work. I used to have an 80 in that class, so I still have an A. All right.
Otherwise, you would say that I'm a terrible influence, right, Gavin?
No, 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 no. You're a very positive influence. If you watch this man's TikTok, you already know he spreads a lot of positivity. So, and I'm very thankful that we have someone on the platform that does that and doesn't. People on the platform do that, but they don't do it in like a way like this. On how Binyam is sitting here taking the time to talk to one of his followers. I've honestly been a follower of you since like you were at like 10, well, like not like 5 to 10K, something like that, like before you hit the boom from even that Uber Canada reached out to you. So I'm honestly very proud of you for that, and
Thank you.
encourage you to continue doing well. I'm not sitting here saying that he's a bad influence. I'm not sitting here saying like he's the best guy in the world. I'm sitting here saying that he's a great guy, and it's great to be talking to him. He's
Thank
honestly
you.
like spreads a lot of positivity and just helps everyone here. So it's all good.
Say that. Gavin, let me take my followers, my viewers who are going to be
Yeah.
watching this. Let me give them just some insights into you. So please tell me a little bit about you from
All right.
uh, where you're from, where you live, what you're all about, what makes you tick. Let's start off there.
All right. So first of all, my name's Gavin McKinnon. I'm 15 in about 2 weeks. I'm in my sophomore year of high school at Northern Colgate in Sarnia, Ontario. Shouldn't really be saying that, but I'm not dropping any information other than that. But it's I love sports. I love my family. I love everything. I live pretty much in a park, and it's really good. But yeah, no, like around here, there's like a lot of nice people and a lot of great things to do here. I have a lot of friends that live around here. It's really good, and I'm very happy that I could be here on the first episode of the Bincast.
That's amazing too. You are on the first one. And how did you get to be the first one interviewed on
I
my
literally I DM'd him like a month ago and said, "If you ever want to do a podcast, I'm being on the first episode. I don't care what you say."
That
But
was
no, like
awesome.
we were talking about this like the first time that I reached out to him. He was like, "I would love to do an interview," and then like literally like 3 days later, he was talking about like how he wanted to do a podcast. And then you guys made the GoFundMe, which if I had money, I swear, man, I would have donated. I didn't have
Thank you.
money on me at the time. If
That's
if you're thinking about doing this like November 1st, I would have been able to throw like $500 at you. So,
okay. You're
but
great.
no, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna send it to you. I'm kidding. But yeah, no. So like honestly, people are probably gonna go back here and see the TikTok. that he's gonna post after this and be like, "Hey, go check out my friend, me, and tag me in the description," you'll probably go out here and say that he doesn't have any videos. Why are you shouting this guy out? I am going to pipe out videos for you people. I'm going to do sports content. I'm going to do funny content. I'm going to do whatever will make me get more followers and whatever will make the followers happy here. I honestly have some videos in the works, like nothing to do like this, but I have like videos, ideas that I already have in my draft that I just haven't posted public yet, and I will be more than happy to do that in like the few next coming hours upon after this, and like hours upon after he does this. But whatever content you want to see, I can cover the four main sports: your hockey, baseball, basketball, football, everything. I could even cover soccer. I can cover tennis a little bit, but if there's a different sport that you guys want me to learn about, I'll 100% learn about it and talk to you and give you my honest opinion about it. I'm honestly a followers type of guy, and I just want the followers to be happy, so that kind of thing. So yeah,
Gavin, you were saying a couple of things there that I want to touch on. First
yeah,
of all, I wanted to just cover something with you, just by way of encouragement, and that is this. Um, I fell into the trap for the longest time of trying to find my sense of self-worth in what other people were thinking of me or expecting from me. So the one thing I'd really encourage you to do is also in the process of you continuing to prepare for stuff, don't forget that your identity, your sense of self-worth is totally unrelated to what you produce.
yeah.
So and
So
this
yeah,
world, the big thing in this world that they try to
yeah,
push is you're only worthwhile if you can do something for us. And my big thing that I'd like to pass on is we're worthwhile regardless of what we
hmm
have to
yeah.
our name.
Like that's what I've been like taught at school. Like I've been like tossed down in a bunch of stuff because like people just see me and they just see me as like some unpopular kid that no one wants to talk to. But that kind of thing just sits there, and I'm like, all right, whatever, say whatever you want. You
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really matter. Doesn't really bother me. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. But other than that, I just like want to move on and just like have a good life and like think about pushing this on. Like think about this 12, 13 years from now, and
Mm-hmm.
like think about this. You're like some hot shot that like everyone's saying, and you can just sit there and say to like your kids and just be like, I was there at the start, and we haven't forgot, and that kind of thing. But
Uh,
hopefully for both of us, it will meet. We will cross paths at some point in actual real life, but you never
absolutely.
know.
Yeah. And I know for me personally, it's one of those things that the reason I'm talking to you, for example, Gavin, isn't
Yeah,
because you're super popular. It's not because you have something to offer, but because you're my fellow human being.
yeah,
And I think by nature of being my fellow human being,
yeah,
I want to interact with you in such a way that says you matter. You like your existence has meaning, right? And it's not based on what you can do for me or I can do for you, but more so because there's a
yeah,
collaboration of our shared experiences,
yeah,
and that's what I'm all about. So,
yeah.
let me go back a little bit now and say you started watching me. Do you remember what drew you in the first place? What drew you in the
It
first
was
place?
probably like I saw like your first couple TikToks about like you Uber driving and you just like commenting on people and like how they look and like being really nice. And then I saw your other things where you were replying to comments and you're like saying on how you were like what would you like, why are you so positive and explaining why, and that honestly gave me inspiration. And honestly, the first time I saw you on my For You page, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, cool, this guy's trying to spread some positivity, love that. Second time I'm like, oh, he's back. And like, and then at that point I followed you. So the first one, I could have been here at the first 2K, but I
Yeah.
came here at the first 5K. But it was just great because I saw that you were up and coming, and I honestly wanted to hop on the train and like being here for you, like being a supporter for you. And I honestly try to look for like I try to get involved in all your lives, but most of the time
Yeah.
with school and everything it just sucks. But whenever
Ah,
I can, because most of the time whenever you live stream, and it's like because you live stream Tuesday, Thursday, if I'm correct, right?
that's right.
Because
That's
that's because you pushed away instead of doing the daily live, so then you could do the podcast. Obviously, that's why I'm here.
that's right.
But yeah, no, like I've been looking around, like for people to try to talk to and try to interact with, and like try to see like the real type of person they are, and not just see them as like some influencer on TikTok that just wants to spread positivity and just be an absolute douchebag in real life. Wait, can I swear? Can I swear a little bit on this lot?
That's
In
okay.
this,
Here's the thing. I would like you as you really are. So I'm gonna encourage all my
yeah,
No,
yeah,
by all
no,
means.
like I didn't want to get demonetized or anything or any of this for you. I
That's
wasn't
your
gonna. I'm not gonna swear that much, but like sometimes like the stuff that I say comes across in other people's minds as swear words, but doesn't really. But yeah, no, because like a bunch of the time I sit here and I'm in school, I'm like, and I go through TikTok and I see you being positive, and then like the next couple ones are just sports TikToks, and it makes me sit there and be like, I want to do that someday. Like I want to be like
Mm,
an influencer, and I like want to influence people for positivity, not like negativity, because I know there was a bunch of people recently that were getting exposed for stuff that they did, but it wasn't like they did it when they were younger, so like you could forgive them. It was
right.
stuff like they did recently, so it just made you turn in there and think, and then they try to come out and just be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," like all this, like just bullshit for lack of better words, and like if you were sorry, then why did you do it in the first place, kind of thing. Like you feel me here, and then yeah, no, because like that's just like the type of person that I want to be. Like with my followers, I'm gonna be 100% unscripted. The only time I'll be scripted is when I actually script out a video, but that would be like the only time that I just want to be myself on this app. But if people don't want me to be myself on this app, they can just get the fuck off this app and just understand that people aren't going to be like your slaves and just do everything that you say. There might be a couple times that people will say, "Hey, I want you to cover this sport," and I'll be like, "All right, cool." Like that's something cool that you want to do. Honestly, if I get to a following that you're at, I might start my own podcast because that was cool. But just gonna be a lot more editing than this. Not gonna lie, but I
That's
understand because with me being in school, I'll have more time because I go to school for 6 hours a day. I don't go for like half a day and then have the other half homework. I just have straight 6 hours and then move on with my life. But yeah,
you're 15, and let me encourage you. You've got a whole lifetime in front of you. The
yeah,
question I want to come back to, you were saying you extremely, yeah, you slow down on my content because you're inspired by the positivity, is what you're saying.
yeah,
Question is, why do you think there is as little positivity or good vibes or whatever you want to say
yeah.
out there right now? Like,
Well,
what do you think is going on there?
you gotta put in perspective. It's
Right.
2020, so the full entire world's fucked over. But you also got to put into perspective that you don't know what other people can be going through the screen, unless as
Right.
they actually portray it through like a TikTok or
Sure.
something, or like through a
Sure.
comment, or
Yeah.
sometimes like you would go on to like some very cute girl's post, and there would be like a bunch of dudes saying, "Oh, you look really beautiful. Like keep up the positivity," and then there would be like douchebags that would be sitting there and being like, "Oh, you're a simp." A simp literally means you are respectful to women. If you weren't taught as a kid to respect
Mhm.
women and you're a male, you
Mhm.
are a scumbag, for lack of
Mhm.
better words.
Yeah.
I was taught to respect women as my full entire life came across that. I have
Yeah.
three sisters. Well, I have an older stepbrother, but
Yeah.
he's literally like 3 months older than me, but he acts like a girl on her period all the time. But it's whatever. He says the same thing about me. It's just brother jokes. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, and like I love my family, and like I wouldn't change anything for the world for them. I would just try to make their world better. And honestly, like if I get like the creator fund or like any sponsorships or anything, I
Mhm.
would not like make it go to myself. I'd make it go to like the people that have supported me. So honestly, I might like give you some money for like podcast equipment and stuff like that because you were right here from the spot I started, and it wasn't like you were there from when I was like my really high. It was like you were right there from the start. But I'm still a
Yeah.
15-year-old, and I have like, I could honestly, TikTok can just be going really well for like the next 3 months and then just die out like every other good thing does. Like a bunch of good video games that a bunch of people got popular off of. Like Fortnite, for example, it went booming for 2 years, and then like everyone just started just being so like much of a tryhard, and like the full entire thing gets toxic. Like over a bunch of time, people, some popular influencers would be toxic in like a couple videos to a couple people, and then the people who actually follow them for who they are would see
Mhm.
that and be like, oh, now it's time to be toxic. Like the most of the people that I watch just make funny jokes, or the jokes that they make can be sometimes offensive, but they're in a funny manner, and they flat out say it's jokes. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. The other set of YouTubers that I watch are just funny content creators that just want everyone to crack a smile and at the end of the day just be happy and just be happy
Mm-hmm.
with their lives. And then like that's what like whenever I'm down, I honestly like go to your TikTok so you spread a bunch of positivity and stuff, which is always good. Because I
Mm-hmm.
remember on the first day on the live, I first time I ever joined your live, I put in the comments, I was like, hey, thank you for like keep spreading the positivity. I don't know if you wanted to like do like a interview sometime, and you were like, just DM me. So I DM'd you on TikTok, but honestly, when I saw your following, you were like at 20K. I was like, so there's a 20,000% chance you're gonna see it. So then I went into so then I went to Instagram where you only had at the time 800 followers, which hopefully has gone up by now. And I just went, all right, I'm gonna DM this man because there's more chance that he's seeing me. Because whenever I slide into a girl's DMs that has 800 followers, she normally sees it because I have a great pickup line. But so I sent you like that one long paragraph that was like, hey, like this is Gavin from the live. You said you wanted to do an interview, so here I am. Let's do that interview sometime.
And guys who are listening onto this podcast, I just want to say it really counts to do what Gavin did by just asking. A lot of people just don't get to that point of asking. And so Gavin said, hey, I want to be your first interviewee. And I'm like, you got it. No one else has asked. So
Yeah,
you got that spot, for example, right? So it really makes a huge deal to just go and ask and make that request. I'm just writing down questions like crazy here, Gavin, because
yeah,
like you just can't keep
yeah.
my mind
Just
going.
just
So I'm
just
trying to,
shoot them off. Shoot them off.
I will, I
Shoot them
will.
off here.
You're okay. Let me talk about this one here. You're talking about these influencers that you watch, but you are almost, it sounds like disillusioned because once they get big, they sort of, uh, it, the way you're saying it seems like they have a certain distance from their followers. I'm going to ask you, when you get big, when you are able to start establishing a good momentum towards becoming big, what are you doing to keep from getting to that place that you see
Uh,
these other individuals
Well, I'm
get
going
to?
to try to interact with as many people. Like if you text me on Instagram, if you text me on Snapchat, if you text me on TikTok, I'll do my best to respond to you because I want to
Okay,
interact with the people that are helping me here.
sure.
Because honestly, like social media is such a good thing in your lives and it
Mm,
could get you so far. But
yeah.
also, if you do one thing wrong or one person says one thing wrong, you're screwed. You can't do anything. You can't be happy. You just
Mhm.
then you have to go into hiding. Like for example, like I'm pretty sure like a long time ago some like famous person faked their death because they wanted to get out of the realms of the
Ah,
paparazzi. I don't remember who it was, but I guarantee
yeah,
someone's done it
gotcha.
because obviously you would want to get out of it because you just want to go on and live like an actual life.
Yeah.
But
So what you're
that
saying is
kind
like
of
when you get to that level of success, it's really hard because you're in the scrutiny of public's eye, and you're saying I can't screw up, otherwise I'm just done for, right?
yeah,
I
like
totally get
there'll be like the people that will be like your supporters. Like you'll have like those like if you have 50,000 followers, for example, the 10,000 of those followers will care about you and will actually support you.
it. Mm-hmm.
The 25,000 won't really care, kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other 15% or however many more percent will care and like watch over every other move that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where you'll get screwed over. Like and then like the people like your 10,000 would the 10,000 people would protect you obviously because they know who you are because they were there from the start. Like if
Sure.
anyone came out blasting you, I would protect you obviously.
Appreciate it.
Like
Thank you.
just because I understand like with the Uber and everything, you don't have enough time. And honestly, I haven't really done that much except like literally slept, eat, homework, and play my PlayStation all the time and scroll through TikTok and come across your videos all the time, which is good. But
Yeah. So
yeah, no,
let me throw a line of reasoning out and tell me. Now, I want you to engage with me. If you disagree, please let me know. I might even throw some
yeah,
things that are bogus just to make sure you're on point. But
yeah,
here's what I'm thinking in relation to that, because I've observed that. I come from a different country. Do you
yeah.
remember where I come from?
No, no. I remember you were talking. It was like,
Can I give you a
isn't
hint?
it like, yeah.
It's not China.
So I wasn't thinking China. It's like someplace in Asia. I know
Uh,
that.
in Africa, actually. It's in
Africa,
Africa.
Africa.
Yeah, 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 it's such the name. But nonetheless, here's the thing that the guy, Gavin, being here, I've noticed a few different things, and there I do know what you're talking about when you say that there's that level of, hey, those who are way up here can't screw up because everyone's just ready to pounce on them and bring them down, right? And what I think happens there, I think it's unfortunate because it doesn't allow them to be human like the rest of us. You and I, who are probably relatively unknown in, like for example, let's take an example. Tom Cruise, he's well known,
Yeah.
right? When he does something wrong, everyone's gonna like rip him apart, kind of thing, right? But that doesn't allow him to be a human. And so, what I think is really important is to encourage one another to be human by way of extending patience when we do screw up, knowing that each and every one of us does screw up, and to be able to remember our own process of getting to be better
Yeah.
versions of
Like,
ourselves, right? And
yeah.
so, for example, with me and my platform, one of the things I want to do is I want to lead by my weaknesses and say, hey, I'm going to screw up at some time along the way. And I'm okay with you guys knowing about it because I was never under the impression that I had to be like perfect, right? And that saves me, for example, from having
Hmm.
to feel like crap, I've let everyone down. No, I'm just going to say, as a human being, I goofed up again, and so that's what I'd also encourage. What do you think about that?
Uh, I 100% agree with that. But as
Yeah,
you were saying with like the public eye, but
sure.
also to relay about your question about like
Yeah,
how would you go with like your followers if you
yeah,
got to that high point. For
yeah.
example, one of a YouTuber that I used to watch, you might know him as Jake Paul.
Okay.
He When he was at like the 1 million to I would say 5 million standpoint, he
Yeah.
actually liked interacting with his fans, and
Okay.
now he's just a cocky bastard sitting on his mansion in LA and just throwing unnecessary parties during this COVID-19 pandemic. When in Canada you do that, you're pretty much going to the hoosegow kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in America, they're just like, oh, we'll just shut off your power. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
he can just go buy another house and throw more parties there. Like, I remember I saw this the one day that he literally saved 3,000 people to go to his house and be in a music video that he shot during this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But if you compare that to his brother Logan,
Mm-hmm.
who is kind of, he's not in the same realms as Jake, but he's more inclusive and people that have got him there and like
Mm-hmm.
actually like cares about his fans kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, like because a bunch of YouTubers that I follow have like a really really strong platform, and
Mm-hmm.
like they promote like really valid messages, like messages that you would want to hear. Like for example, one of my favorite YouTubers relays like stay positive and stuff like that, like keeps positive or literally just makes funny jokes the whole entire time,
Yeah.
or will be on the realms, and if you look in his Twitter comments on a post, he'll be like the first one to respond to like the top comment and just like make a joke out of it and like laugh about it and just
Mm-hmm.
interact with his followers and love it. Like
Mm-hmm.
every year he does for like the best football game, and
Mm-hmm.
like for Madden, he made like this video last year where he's like like the best meme gets Madden 20 for free, and that's
Mm-hmm.
like a way that they would interact with their followers. Like if I got to a point where like with money and stuff that I could do something like that, obviously I would do it just because to give back to the followers and stuff that have
Mm-hmm.
given me this platform.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Never forget that.
honest yeah, because honestly, like if you I saw this one day that this guy was really big streamer, and
Yeah.
he couldn't turn off stream donations,
Mm.
even though he didn't want to do it for the money. He just didn't want to do it to put people's smiles on his faces. So he moved over to Instagram where you can't uh, give people money and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's what he did and just live streamed on there. He still does it to this day, I'm pretty sure. But other stuff like people will be toxic to one and another, and that's just human beings, obviously. But once you get like a group of people, it turns for the worst. Because I
Mm-hmm.
remember this one streamer was told by his chat to go kill himself a bunch of times, and like by a bunch of couple days, which was a very bad message. Rest in peace to Reckful.
Mm-hmm.
And literally a week later, he passed away by killing himself, which is very sad to hear. But stuff like that. So next question.
Um, you mentioned a pickup line that
Yeah.
always works. Are you
Uh,
willing to share your game, or is that your own property?
I have a bunch. I have a bunch. All right, so I'm pretty sure my
Okay.
is a corny one. but it's like when you actually see like a really attractive girl, you're just like,
Yeah.
did it hurt from when you fell from the vending machine because you're a snack, like something like that. And like if you get to know the person more, you'll send like a more cornier joke, and they'll be like, I guess we can go to the movies together, and they'll be like, oh, why? I'm like, because you're a snack, like something
Uh,
stupid like that. It's just really like funny but cute kind of thing. And sad thing
I like
is that
the
girls
humor.
don't like me, so yeah, move on.
What is the most taboo thing for a teenage guy today to think about or talk about amongst his friends?
So not the girlfriend. Everyone loves talking about the girlfriend because they'll end up
Okay.
telling a bunch of stories that I have heard a bunch of stories in my civics class on where I sit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Really good stories that for legal reasons and reasons of not being beat up or demonetized for you, I shall not
Sure.
share.
Okay.
But most of the time it's like them being like really sad kind of thing, because like
Okay.
you don't want to open up, like you'll open up to your friends when you're like feeling really down, just say like, hey, I don't feel too good, can we talk for a minute? But like it's difficult, like it would get like you would have to be really down low for that kind of thing, but other than that, like everything else is easy to talk about.
So does that mean to imply that amongst teen guys in general, and I'm asking because I'm not there
Yeah.
anymore, that it's really difficult to actually experience any vulnerability or deep connections as far as when it gets to the feeling realm? Is that what you're saying?
No, deep connections are easy to find. Like you can, like normally whenever I'm sitting there and I'm playing with my best friend and we're playing like the PlayStation, I
Hmm.
can tell he's off by his voice, like
Mm,
just because I could tell. And he would
yeah.
ask, like I would ask him what's wrong, and then we would talk for a bit, and then he would ask me, "Is everything okay?" I'll be like, "Yeah," and then there would be like the odd day that I'm
Hmm.
not okay, and then we would talk about it. Like
Hmm.
it's if it's noticeable, people will open up. You'll open up to people, but
Yeah.
if no one notices, nor no one will care, you just don't talk about it. You just keep it to yourself, kind of
Sure.
thing.
Okay.
That's the tough thing.
I see. I see. Thanks for sharing that with me. Yeah.
No
I
problem.
was trying to think
That
when I was a kid, what was the most taboo thing to talk about? I think it was those vulnerable feelings internally when
yeah,
you're like, I
yeah.
can't let anyone know. Yeah. All right. What do you think is the biggest injustice currently going on socially in the world right now?
So what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So what I mean by that is, what is the thing when you hear about it, you're like, that is so unfair, and it gets you like riled up when you hear about
Uh,
it.
well, honestly, like with the Black Lives Matter, as
Okay.
you can see, I'm obviously white, but I support it thoroughly because I know a lot of African American people or African Canadians or other races, and I fully respect them and I love them for who they are because they are really good people, and
Mm,
they shouldn't really be described on what they could do based off of who they are and what they look like. It should be on how they are as a person, and if they're an absolute douchebag as a person, then that's not stereotypical and stuff like that. But
mhm, mhm.
uh, stuff like that where like you hear about a, like an innocent black person getting shot for literally no reason, and then literally like an hour later, white supremacist people who promote white supremacy will open up on a platform like TikTok, open up like a platform on Snapchat or something like that, and say, "Hey, this person really did this. Like that was really bad, but they already served the time for that, so they're innocent now." But it, which really ticks me off. I
Yeah.
just don't shoot them a DM or anything because then it just makes me look like they would make it spin on me like I'm a bad person kind of
Yeah.
thing. But that's
Yeah.
why I don't really speak up to people about it. Like I speak up to people about it,
Yeah.
but when it comes to like actually texting people about it when they say stupid stuff like that, then at that point I just give
Gotcha.
up because it could just take one screenshot to ruin your full entire perception or reputation or anything. Because that's just what the world's come to. It's not actually seeing it as a person. It's just seeing a screenshot or something stupid, that kind of thing.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Peer pressure, is that still a thing for
One
teenagers
hundred
today?
percent. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I don't even need to. I could speak on it on times that I've been peer pressured actually really recently to
Yeah.
like sing songs and stuff. But other than that, I've been people have tried to get me into like vaping and stuff, like
Yeah.
offered me the vape and stuff, and I'm just like,
Sure.
nah, bro, I'm good, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the time when it comes to alcohol, normally it's my parents that are trying to give it to me, like just saying, hey,
Wow.
no, like they're like, if you're gonna drink, just make sure it's around us. Other than that,
I
we
see.
won't be mad. Like
Yeah.
they control it kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if you feel me here. Other than that, like not really that much. Like you don't really get peer pressured that much to go like ask a girl out. You normally just pressure yourself too much about that kind of thing. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Gotcha. So it's Thursday today, and how like you seem to be a really strong individual, at least in this interaction of where we're talking. And I love getting to know you. Um, on a scale from 1 to 100, how much do you think you struggle with peer pressure by way of, yeah,
Mm, 35% probably. Because
5%?
normally, because if it wasn't for me singing all these songs and stuff, it would be zero or something
Hmm.
stupid. Like doing stupid stuff with my friends, which
Yeah,
is just normal. It's not peer pressure. It's just you being a kid and being a teenager. It's not peer pressuring if you literally say to your parents and you're like, no, I'm not gonna go do this, and you've already planned it out with your how you're gonna cover it up. Like
uh,
when you're talking about it, it's not peer pressured if
yeah,
you've cleared it up, but I've been peer
yeah,
pressured into doing a bunch of stupid things that I do regret to this day that I do not want to talk about. So if you don't want to get on that realm, but
yeah.
um, other than that, it's all good. But
Okay.
yeah,
Now, you are familiar with the term chivalry, right?
what do you mean? Pardon?
Chivalry. Have you heard that term before? Chivalry?
No.
That's okay. So chivalry is spelled Chivalry. There, we are.
Yeah.
Chivalry. It's like the old-fashioned way of how guys are trying to be gentlemen. So that's why they
Yeah.
open the door
Oh,
for the girl.
yeah. Oh,
But
so it's a simp. So just say simp, then I would
I
understand.
was,
That's what they call it.
well, that's what I was getting to. I had on my notes here that I wrote down. Does chivalry equal being a simp today?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Uh,
Because
uh,
here's the thing, though. You see, like, I checked up on this term simp because I've learned so many new terms while being online. It's been crazy. But this term simp, officially, it was described as a guy who's trying to be kind for the purpose of getting into the pants of a girl. That's how I understood it. But what it seems like it's being used now is it's being used indiscriminately across the board
yeah.
for anyone
That
who
that
is.
was so at the start. It wasn't
Yes.
at like the start of the summer. It wasn't a big deal kind of thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, um, like ever since like my friends always call me the biggest simp because I'm actually kind of females because I've been
Okay.
taught to, but
Okay.
kind of thing. And like if they went too far with a joke, I would tell them flat out, just be like,
Yeah.
"Bro, you went too far," but it was still funny. But
Yeah.
it's like the simp, like pretty much. I'm known as a simp, and I'm proud to be a simp. I will flat out say it here. I don't care if you see me on TikTok and you are going to get mad at me for being a simp, then you're not a real member of the boys. Right?
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
you understand that there'll always be that one girl that every guy would simp for, just because you would want that girl forever and ever, and that
Sure.
kind of thing. But
Sure.
other than that, it's not a big deal.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, like there's like a bunch of different definitions, but most of the time they just see it as a guy that just actually wants to be nice to a girl and kind of thing. It's not like the first definition as you said, but it's like the second one, the newer one that I portrayed.
Good. Now, in reference to guys in general, like that you have access to, especially in high school, um, how many, like, I guess I'm trying to ask, what percentage would you say are simps in the good way, and what percentage would you say are totally
Fuck
in the wrong?
boys.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. So based off of what I see,
yes,
uh, there's a lot of I know there's good guys, and I know a bunch of them because my brother's a good guy and he has a girlfriend. Good for him.
sweet.
Can't stand it, but um uh but like I would honestly say 34% are like based off of in my town on like the way that everything goes down. uh I know that there's been like a lot of reports about like this teenager's been beating up females and stuff like that, which he did get his butt whooped for that.
Okay.
Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
about that. And then
So there
other
is
stuff.
like a clear distinction there between
Yeah,
guys who are
yeah,
honorable and guys who are not honorable.
yeah. And the guys that are
Which,
honorable, just on me, I'm the honorable side. I
of
like
course,
would fully respect like a female and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't, I wouldn't be sad to like be like dating this one girl just because I would actually like look for her in personality and stuff. Like not just be
yeah,
like, oh, you have a nice body, come over
yeah.
here and fuck, and then you can leave my life and never talk to me again. Like no.
Mhm. I see.
But
So
normally when
would you
people,
say
yeah,
the one is which one of those two groups is in the majority? What would you say?
fuck boys, one hundred
Okay.
percent, 100%.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic about the trajectory of guys in general and the way they're evolving and developing socially?
Uh, what do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is you have hope that the male
Yes,
population
100%.
and
100% I do. The male population just smartens up and actually realizes that we actually need females in our life to reproduce and not just stop. And yes, I do understand that. And yeah,
so you're feeling optimistic that that is
yeah,
possible for
yeah.
guys. Awesome. Okay, very cool.
I know that, and I know that's possible. All right.
Why are you the way you are? Which means you've got some really strong perspectives, which are good and honorable. But
Yeah.
where did you get all these sort of like rock solid? Here's my convictions. Where do you attribute
Um,
them to?
normally it's based off of opinions that my family says and opinions, because most of the time my family would have two different opinions. I would be
Okay,
right in the middle, and then I would
interesting.
hear both sides of the argument.
Yeah,
Um, but most of the time it's like from my dad. Like he gives a bunch of like good advice and stuff. But he like he I remember he was talking to me the one day. He was talking to me and my brother the one day, and he was like, he was talking to me about like the one situation about the guy beating the girl kind of thing.
yeah.
And he was like, if you ever see that happening, just beat the guy's ass, like flat out. I'm like, me and my brother look at him and was like, yeah, we know. Um,
Hmm.
but most of the time it's just based off of perception and honestly stuff that I've supported my full entire life.
Sure.
Like with like the Black Lives Matter full entire campaign kind of thing. My one of my best friends are light skinned, so it's he's kind of right in the middle. So I
Mhm.
support him, but also like it's kind of thing.
Yeah,
But it's just like the standpoints that I have on situations. Uh, yeah, it's just that. It's
cool.
just like what I see in a situation, like the good and the bad, like that come out
Yeah.
of it.
Okay. Um, empathy. You know what the word empathy means, right?
Yes, yes,
Awesome. It sounds like you have a good, healthy dose of empathy,
yeah.
especially in relation to others. So where does that come from for you?
Um, it just comes from myself knowing like personal experiences that I've been through.
Yeah.
Uh, other stuff like with like I just had a stuff nose there. It's like you see like other stuff like people will be empathetic for you if you like show that you're not okay because they'll like wonder like they'll question it and you just want to be like a kind human being and just like
Yeah.
care about other people's lives because
Yeah.
there's literally like a one in like 300 trillion chance of you actually getting a life and no one should just throw it away like that because there are a lot of lives that are lost due to suicide and overdosing drugs everything which is stuff that people don't get based off of an influence. They don't choose to do it. They just get it off an influence or a way that they see to get out of the thoughts that they're in.
Hmm.
And as a person, like as a human being, I just don't want to see anyone get into those thoughts. Like that's yeah, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, what is your best subject in school and what's your worst subject in school?
All right, all right. Are we gonna go off last year's marks or this year so far?
Let's say in general, as you see
In
it.
general, all right.
Yes.
Well, best class is either gym or tech because those are my two favorites and those are like the two ones that I try in.
Yeah.
And probably my worst one. It's actually not English. I'm actually pretty decent in English. It was
Okay.
it's honestly geography, not science. Science was always a struggle.
Science.
It wasn't really that much of a
Um,
struggle. It's just like ever since grade 7, ever since grade 8, the teachers always hated me. So yeah,
shoot, I see.
but
We'll
yeah,
get back to the teacher point, but I would say mine were definitely the sciences. I sucked at sciences, and I even tried to do a whole degree in science. So it's like,
yeah,
this is not fun. And my best ones were probably music and
yeah,
PE.
yeah. Everyone, as long as you show up, like literally, I got a 96 for showing up with a broken leg last school year. So I broke my
Wow.
leg playing hockey. I still have
Okay.
I have the stick in my closet that I was using when I broke my leg.
That's a crutch. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Your best teacher, and why are they your best teacher?
Probably. Well, he's now retired. He retired this year over the summer because due to COVID, and he didn't want to go back to school with COVID. It was
Yeah.
probably my like my design tech teacher, Mr. Campbell. He was
Mm,
just such a great guy. Like he would give positivity. He would know how to talk to people. He would know how to connect to people. He would
mm,
literally, like, when I broke my leg, I went down to his classroom every day to just eat lunch with him. And
wow.
like the guy that was doing like the student thing where like you can get an extra credit for helping out a teacher, we were really close, me and him. We still talk to this day.
Mm,
He still goes to the school because he took the year to the grade 13, well, which is 12x option.
yeah.
So I still see him around the school and stuff, which is good. But yeah,
Okay. And why was he the best teacher? Like you were saying, you loved hanging out with him even when you didn't have to. What
yeah.
made it seem?
He would just like be able to sit there and make jokes. Like he would make you laugh. He would like offer you a bunch of stuff. Like when I went back to his class, I literally showed a bunch of kids how to do the work because I knew how to do it. I did it really well in his class. Like I
Yeah.
honestly probably had like a 94 in his class.
Uh,
Well, it was 94 based off of the projects that we built. Like I
yeah.
have the one. This was my favorite one that I built, and it was this one. This was the
Well,
favorite logo of my favorite basketball player's shoe, like his shoe
nice.
brand. And it was that. It was also really easy because it was really easy to use the app to do that. But
Yeah.
I pretty much built that myself. So yeah.
I like it.
Um, I'm trying to think of my other tech projects and where I put them. My parents stole my pen. Okay, no, this is the only one that I have
That's all right.
ready to
That's
go.
impressive though.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
no. Next question.
What would you say to teachers in general so that they could up their game and make school actually worthwhile for kids while they're at school? If you
Um,
had all the teachers sitting in front of you and they're like, pads open, and they're like, all right, Gavin, please give us something that is going to really help us up our game. What would you say to them?
probably say be more inclusive with like athletic stuff, or be more inclusive with stuff like games and stuff. Because me knowing with like the classes that I take and me taking six
Yeah.
hours a day of the
Yeah.
same straight boring class, it gets repetitive. Like in my English class, I've probably done about 60 worksheets in 2 weeks, and it just gets repetitive, and like you have no fun in the class. It's just you're sitting there and it's like you're working in a prison. Like incorporate games probably, or incorporate something that would be like joyful and would make the kids have fun and stuff like that.
Mhm, mhm. Cool. Um, dream context when in your mind you make it. What would that look like for you? Like when you have your dream job and your dream setting in life, describe what that would be like. What
It
would you
would
be doing?
be probably me playing in the MLB. That's always been a dream of mine, or like playing something professionally, honestly. But probably having a house on like a lake or an ocean or something, and like with like a car and stuff, like nice car and stuff. Like
Yeah,
not.
sure.
I don't want to don't spend too much money. Just like spend like them not minimal amount, just
Yeah.
like enough, like not overhit it.
Okay.
Kind
If you were to give your time to a cause that you really believed in, what would that cause be?
of. That's actually a
What
really good question.
what do you really care about that you're like, this is something worthwhile that I want to volunteer for, give towards, and see some change in?
It would probably be Black Lives Matter, but that's obviously like the most general answer right now. But I'd still stand by it just because flat out just makes everyone's lives easier, and it just uh, doesn't like it affects everyone in a
Yeah.
sense. Because if you think about this, it's affecting the presidential debate because it's not because everyone's using their platform to tell people to go vote and stuff. But also, you got to sit here and acknowledge that both candidates in their past have been racist,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to incorporate on where like which one is being more like pro Black Lives Matter kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mom explained this to me the one day that in Trump's casinos all across America, when he was going to a separate casino that he owned, all of the black people that worked there that they employed, not because Trump said that they could be employed, they just employed them because they were actual legitimate good people. They had to go get like hidden and like told that they're done work for the night just so Trump would feel comfortable. And then my friends were talking about this in my careers class today, and we
Mm-hmm.
were sitting there just talking about how Biden said something about like black people like in like 1980 something. So I understand that that's like 30, 40 years ago, but still it has an effect today due to like the recent standpoint of people will go anywhere to like end someone, like to go into people's past to like kill them right now kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Do you have any friends of color?
Yes,
Okay.
I have.
I
I have two of my best friends are one of them's light skinned, the other one's Asian, but we're all both like friends. Literally, the one joke, the joke is that one of them's actually really good at basketball, and that's the light skin. So they're like, so the ongoing joke is the only reason why you're good at basketball is because you're a light skin, and that's the joke. And he would be like, well, the only reason why you're good at shooting is because you're white. I'm like, I know. And then my Asian friend would just make a bunch of stupid jokes. Well, he makes the jokes. We just laugh at them. So, what
okay.
which are
Okay.
really funny, which are really
Got-
good.
Gotcha. Um, um, there's something I wanted to follow up with you on. Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, so there's a Black Lives Matter. How much in your area is Aboriginal um,
Yeah,
discrimination on
yeah, yeah,
display?
yeah. No,
Is that pretty like
there
evident?
hasn't been. I don't think there hasn't been that much discrimination in my area that I
Okay,
know of. But
gotcha.
where we live, like 45 minutes north or south of me,
Sure.
that way is a reserve that way. There's a reserve on the other side of the other side near our airport, and then there's another reserve south near towards the Chemical Valley that's near my place, like that's in my town. But yeah, no, like there's like a good solid mixed population of everyone.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah, I remember I just moved back from Saskatchewan, and the place where I was there's quite a few reserves around the small city that I lived
yeah,
in. And I've never seen the expression of discrimination so
hmm
clearly evident. Now, a lot of times it was evident in a clear way, but it was also subconscious, it seemed, as the residents were more, they didn't realize what they were doing even as they were doing it. So that was really sad to see. But yeah, that's also definitely been on my radar. Would it surprise you to know that I don't think I've ever experienced discrimination racially?
um, probably. Well,
Yeah,
with you being, how long have you been in Canada for?
32 years.
Then I'm shocked.
I
Sorry,
know.
I'm not trying to sound racist here.
I know.
I'm
I
flat out saying that
It's
from
unbelievable.
1980 to about the year 2000,
Yeah,
that was completely racist. Like if we were talking right now in like 1990, and
yeah,
you were here since 1930, and you said that, I would be shocked out of my mind,
sure enough.
knowing
Yeah.
because of like the obvious with like the schools being the way that they were back in the day and kind of thing,
Mhm.
stuff like that, and like only being like the white privilege was like way too much. Like I would force you to go sharpen the pencil that I'm holding right now, and if you said no, I could whoop you, I could beat you, and you can't
Yeah,
do anything about it. But I'm
right,
not
right.
saying that. I'm just using that as an example. So if anyone's seen this, this is an example. All right.
We know.
Um.
Noted.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, and honestly, for my part, what I find I have a unique experience is I had a request to talk on this panel just this past summer. It was a panel on Black rights.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm happy to talk, but you need to know before you accept me that I don't know if I'm going to speak in the same, like, I'm not sure if I'm the one you're looking for, just because I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever experienced this issue of racism for me personally. So I'm going to add a whole unique flavor. And basically, what I'm doing, Gavin, is I'm coming like you to all of my Black friends and saying, I don't get it either. And I'd like to understand because I've never had that experience. So it's
Like,
helpful for me to understand.
most of the time with like the people that I know, like around here, there's not that much racial discrimination.
Sure.
There's the odd jokes that they make, but it's literally with them right there, and they instigate the jokes, and they're sitting there laughing at it, and then they'll flinch at you and be like, nah, 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 and just like laugh about it. But it's around here, you don't see it as much
Okay.
as surprising as you would say, but knowingly that literally downtown is a weed fest that you can go down there and you just smell straight weed if you walk downtown.
Gotcha.
And yeah, but like in the midtown area is
Mm,
like the very like really good area, like the really like not clean area, but just like where everything is, like your movie theater, the ice rink, everything's there.
yeah.
But yeah, no, like other than that, I'm sitting
Okay.
here flat out, and I'll say flat out to the boys, I fully support Black Lives Matter. I fully support you boys, and I just want this to end and everyone be equal because everyone has a human being, everyone has a heart, everyone has a reason to live, and they don't have a reason to go do anything stupid. And if you're feeling suicidal or anything, please reach out to one or both of us because you do have a lot to live for. You are a really good person, and anything about you that is very negative, please just speak up because you can always go speak up and we will get help for you, or we will know how to help you, or we will talk to you as like personal experiences because I have been through a lot of my short 15 years of living, but I could probably get you the right help because I have a lot of connections and stuff. So please speak up. All right, continue.
Gavin, I just saw the empathy on display there. It was awesome. Listen, who would you say is your hero in life?
Oh, I don't want to go there. That's too hard of a question to answer, and I would
No.
also be ticking off too many people if I answer that question correctly,
Okay.
or ticking off, or just like not having an answer, or just be sitting here for like another 20 years explaining. Right.
I respect that. No worries. Which sport is your favorite?
Ooh, ooh, that's actually a good one. No, like honestly, hockey, baseball, football are like the top three in my brain. I've played them my full entire life. They've been honestly the first ever sport that I watched after I was born was a Habs Leafs game, and my dad was holding me as a Habs fan. My mom was a Leafs fan. I just went with the bandwagon of everyone in my family being a Leafs fan. So hockey, obviously, as being Canadian, gotta love hockey, but
Okay.
also baseball. My dad got me into that from a young age, and I really just loved the sport ever since then.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not actually really decent at it. No, I'm not gonna say really good. I'm not gonna sound cocky here. I'm just gonna say pretty decent at it. Football, I've played it. I've known it my full entire life. I played it for about 8 years of my life, and then We don't have a season this year due to COVID, but for high school and stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, no,
Hey, explain to me something, because this is me and my ignorance on display here.
yeah.
Why are they called Habs when they have like, okay, the real team name is,
The Montreal Canadiens.
how do you get Habs from Montreal Canadiens? I don't get that.
Honestly, as a hockey fan, I don't understand that.
Okay,
I,
okay.
I swear it's like a nickname that someone gave them, and it's just stuck ever since because that team's been around since like for like over 200 years, pretty sure something like that. So
Yeah. Okay, cool.
obviously, with it being well, not 200 years, like 100 years or plus, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, we're nearing the end here, by the way, so you're doing fantastic. I've just been
All right,
grilling. You're doing fantastic. Okay,
okay.
before I get to my final question, may I give you some things to consider? You're
Yes, yes,
mentioning
yes,
something
100%.
about how you want to give some huge value to your followers, and you have some big designs to start putting content out there, which is amazing. I'm going to be following you, by the way, Gavin. I'm going to be following you, and I'll be like also like
All
absolutely,
right,
man.
all right,
Yes,
all right.
I'll be cheering you from the sidelines. Here's what I've learned, and this is kind of my process of evolving. Um, just put stuff out there, but eventually I found in my experience, I started narrowing down. At first, I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm talking about. What am I all about? But I started narrowing it down really like
Yeah,
to a point, right? And so when you watch my first videos, it's all over the place,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's waves, it's
So
waves.
I know you were saying you want to give your followers whatever, right? But usually followers come because you're aiming for something at a point. And so try to figure out whatever that is. And that's what where this last question.
Can I speak? Can I speak up about this point?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the full entire point of anything here is honestly just to produce videos and stuff, and look towards the future here. And personally, I'm gonna try to narrow it down to like 6 or 7 sports if it gets to the point. 7 sports is the max, and then just focus on making content and depending on like the time of day. So like if let's say I'm posting at 4 p.m. my time, it's not
Yeah.
4 p.m. in Australia, so they
Right.
wouldn't see the. So I would make like a hockey content, and the
Mm,
people from Australia wouldn't see that, and they would just be like not minding their own. They would be minding their own business, but they would see like I would make like an Australian football thing, which would be
sure.
something that I might honestly look into because it looks very interesting. I've seen it on TV at like 6 o'clock in the morning when I turn on the TV, but it's something like that and like post it like not soon as I wake up or like have like a time to set it the post
Mm,
kind of thing, but just trying to like narrow it down to as much little to make it as much less work as for me possible, but still.
okay. Okay. And then the final question.
All right.
What is your biggest life lesson? In your 15 years of maturity, what is the
Ooh.
biggest thing you're like, wow, this is like something I'm gonna never forget and it's impacted and changed me?
Uh, ooh, that's actually really hard. I would probably say, well, obviously be yourself because like that's obviously because as long as if you change for people to actually respect you, you're they're just respecting you, but you're not respecting yourself.
Hmm.
It's just something easy like that. But yeah, no, like something like that. Um, yeah, it's probably that. There's probably more.
That's
Honestly,
that's good.
I might touch on, that in a future TikTok video. Thank you for
No,
giving me the ideas. Make
no
sure
problem.
if you do have any more questions based off of like TikTok ideas, please shoot the DMs to me, like you, and then and I'll answer them in a video and stuff like that. But yeah, I honestly, I'm looking forward to this. Looking forward to like the next push in the future, and also make sure to follow my socials. Gotta get this plug in here. All right.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. Where can they find you? Where can they find you? What's your
so on Instagram, it's Gavin.McKinnon, GAVIN.MACKINNON. On Snap, it's G_MACKINNON 1111, which is pretty much just 11, not 11, and then spell it stupid. Um, TikTok will be linked in this man's video that he makes about this. More than happy. Content will be coming out in the next coming hours or so, depending. Um, I'll probably end up plugging some of my friends who have been here from day one in the videos that are coming in the future, but I'm hoping that we do move on and we have a good time here on this app. Very happy to be here on the first episode of the Bincast. I'll let you guys go here. Have a great night, everyone. Peace out.
Gavin?
Gavin,
Thank you.
signing out. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Peace out,
You're
boys.
very welcome. Talk to you soon.